Yeah, everyone's saying still nothing. Everyone's saying still nothing. Testing, one, two, three. Testing, one, two, three. Testing. Oh, hey y'all. Oh, hey y'all. Okay. Okay. But can they still hear me? But can they still hear me? Hear me? Can you let me know if you hear me? Maybe, possibly, maybe, yes, possibly, yes. There's an echo. There's an echo.
Let's see. All right, can
I
y'all hear
don't
me
know.
now? Can y'all hear me now?
Can you all hear Marcus?
All right, cool. I'm back. All right. All right, we got Marcus. Do we have Janelle as well?
Hello, testing, one, two, three.
If y'all got Janelle, give her a thumbs up and then tell everybody to come on back in because we're good to go now. I
Oh,
apologize about that. Apparently, the studio tried to use a different mic than what I was trying to use tonight. So, but we're not gonna let the devil take our thunder. Apparently, he don't want us to tell the problems about the black church today, but we're gonna talk about it because it's got to be talked about.
fun.
But no, look, Janelle, go ahead and tell us what you got going on, had going on.
Did they hear anything I said? Anyway, I
Yeah.
randomly went viral on TikTok for no reason. You guys, I was just lip syncing to this Southern white woman's voice, and apparently all of the Caucasian female community decided to like the video and has now gone crazy. And going viral is not fun. Who wants those notifications? In more positive news, my son overcame his fear of the pool and he loves going into the water, and we had a blast, which was so important to me. And then lastly, I am getting flued out to Miami at the end of next month to direct my first client photo shoot. And I'm really excited. So, yes, I'm doing
Welcome
it.
to Miami. All right,
Yeah.
go ahead. Like everything, I've been so excited watching you this week because it's like everything that you've been doing, it's just all falling into place.
Yeah.
Uh, your son's getting in the pool, you're getting flew out to Miami. I mean, everything's just falling into place for you. And so, I mean, that's amazing. Like, nothing
Thank
makes
you.
me happier than to see my friends succeed, the people I care about succeed. And then I got to toot my own horn because a little success came my way.
Yes.
So, people who know me know I came out here. I'm in Missouri now, but I was in DC, and a lot of things happened while I was in DC that discouraged me and made me feel like I felt like I put in a lot of work. And I know everybody has ever felt that has felt this way before, where you feel like you're putting in a lot of work and you're never acknowledged for it. You're never people don't ever give you the acknowledgement and the praise that you deserve for some things. And this look, we live in this culture where people think, you got to be modest all the time, and sometimes you just need to be praised for what you do. Everybody deserves it. If you're doing something fantastic, you deserve it. And
That's
so
it.
so when for the military we test for promotion, and I really believe that this year was not gonna be my year because I didn't get a push statement after everything I did. I didn't get up, strated really high. Um, and I just was like, you know what? I'm really just shooting for 2022. Like that was my mindset. I'm shooting for 2022, and this year will just be a year where I focus on getting into this new place, learning this place, figuring out how I fit in here. Well, God turned around and had his own plans, and I was promoted. So
Mm-mm.
I'm very
He said,
excited.
let me work. Sit back and watch me work.
I'm it was crazy. Like I'm very excited. It was crazy. I was taking the test and I was like, man, like I know all this stuff. Like this is crazy. This is crazy. Like this feels good. And I got out of that test and it was like for the first time, like before I walked in, I was like, God, your will be done. Whatever happens, happens. It is what it is. But then I walked out of the test and I was just
Testimony now.
like I had no weight on me. It was just like it's done. Like now let's go have a good day because I choose to have a good day. And
That's
then I get a call, that I made it. So with that being said, everybody out there, uh a W so big, Marcus Winters had to put it on the podcast. Hey, love you, Ricky. I appreciate that. Um, thanks, Rob. Thanks for that. But yeah, so this is a message to everybody out there. Man, if they won't give it to you, go out and take it. Like
hey,
if you know you deserve it, go take it. Don't let other people make you feel like you're less than when you know you've been putting in the work. Just go out there and go get it. Enough of that. Let me get off the soapbox. Glad to have you all here today. Janelle, you got something to say about the BET Award, and you've been saying it on Instagram all day. So I'm gonna just let you have the floor. Go say what you gotta say.
passionate about this. Okay, so let me start by saying I did not watch the BET Awards. I don't watch award shows. I don't. The only thing that I do is I look up everyone's outfits ahead of time. That's what I enjoy doing, and I enjoy rating them. And me and my girlfriends, we rate them. Besides that, I don't watch any award show. However, I saw last night that people showed up to the BET Awards looking terrible. And I just felt like y'all will show up and show out to the Grammys. Y'all will take 3 months to get ready for the Grammys and the Oscars and all that stuff. But for whatever reason, y'all go to the BET Awards and look terrible. I was told that they didn't even give Queen Latifah a standing ovation and she received like the Lifetime Achievement Award or whatever. But I just feel like, okay, I understand, I'm not BT's biggest fan. That was my first job out of college. It was exactly what the stereotypical, like, horrific black corporate business, like, it was terrible. And they should be ashamed of themselves. And BT should be so much better. However, if you're gonna take the time to go, can you give me what I need? Because you're giving me nothing. You're giving me a platter of Rainbow and Dollar General being served. And I'm looking for the creme de la creme, okay? You are still a celebrity. You are still you. And I was upset.
Well,
That's it.
I don't watch BET Awards anymore. I'm gonna be honest; they've just been boring to me. The outfits were terrible. I didn't even like Taraji's outfit, and I was saddened by that because I love Taraji. I didn't like that weird, colorful thing she was wearing. Didn't like that. Yes, she's a Howard alum, so some slack, but I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. I saw the Lil Nas X thing. I mean, he did the whole Michael Jackson Remember the Time thing. I get it, but it wasn't that spectacular to me, so I don't watch it. I just don't. Ricky says BET is a disservice to the black community. I remember when they canceled BET News and gave Frankie and Neffy multiple seasons. Yeah. It's BET.
There should be BT cooking shows. We should have our own HGC. We should have like our own everything. There should be BET's America's Next Top Model, like all of that.
Yep.
It doesn't make any sense that we don't have it.
Man, they could really use it to talk about the HBCUs. Put the HBCUs on the channel. Like have a show that just talks about all the HBCUs, so kids could be educated on which one they want to pick. What, there's 107 of them? Like, come on, like you could have a whole series about the HBCUs, how they started, how they began, and but no, we'll watch Baby Boy every damn weekend. Excuse my language.
But I just feel like if you're going to show up, then show up. Or like these are people that could be providing change. I feel
Yeah.
like these celebrities could be providing change to BET or coming up with their own networks and giving us more, but it's like y'all are just okay with mediocrity when it comes to us. But when it comes to the other folk, y'all really want to just give us true garments of the greatest fabrics. I'm just confused.
Oh man, I get it. Yeah, I'm not a BET fan. Like I never turned to BET. Like that's a
Me
channel I
either.
would
I don't even
never turn
have
to.
cable.
Yeah. So you feel like you got that off your chest? You feeling better now?
Yes.
You feeling better now?
I
All
was
right.
just really frustrated.
So before we get to the black church, and y'all, we're gonna let y'all go on it. We're gonna let y'all go on it. Before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about Scottie Pippen because this dude, like it sucks for me to see such a great player go down this road, where you're insulting current players, and now you're calling the coach that led you to all your championships. Now you're calling him racist. Now, let's put that in the context of you got a new, what is it, bourbon and a new book coming out. So I guess this is profitable for you, but to me you're killing your legacy, bro. And let's not act like you weren't the guy. Like you weren't the guy. Even when he left, you pouted on the sideline because you didn't get to take the shine. Like Janelle.
I just Scottie Pippen is interesting to me, specifically because I feel like he talks about a lot of things that are just like you talk about stuff that you shouldn't be paying attention to when there are other things happening that you should be talking about. Like the fact that your ex-wife still has your last name and she is out here still breaking up homes to this day. To this day. Beyond that, like, I didn't understand him going after KD, especially because it was right after KD had really played his heart out. Like,
Yeah.
as an old head, I'm all about criticism. I'm all about it. And I think KD should learn how to take it better. But I just feel
Definitely.
like, are you really here to knock him during like the really rough time of the season? Like, this is really like the end all be all for the season. You want to knock him, and then you come out and trash someone who's dead?
Yeah.
And you know, some people made sense. They were like, you know, well, his son died, which was horrific, and it was really, really sad. Like losing a child is horrific.
Yeah.
And I understand that we all go through things. But I will never, ever, ever, ever excuse people attacking other people because you're going through trauma.
Yep.
It's not an excuse. It's not okay. It's actually really ugly. So I just feel like he should just be quiet. Be quiet. I hate when he talks. His teeth are so big.
He does look like super sleepy every time I see him. Like he just never got enough sleep since he left the league. But I mean, I get it. You wanna make waves for your new brands and everything, but don't be like that. Especially don't bring Kobe Bryant into it if he's not here to defend himself. Like that to me, like just shut up. Shut up. There's a point where you can be sensational, and there's a point where you could be now you're downright disrespectful. And I wouldn't say that he's trying to push a narrative that LeBron is better than MJ. I do think in a way Scottie is still trying to, and he doesn't have to. My thing is everybody knows the Bulls don't win those championships without Scottie Pippen. Everybody who knows basketball knows that. They know that. But that still doesn't mean you were the most important guy. It doesn't mean you were the most important guy.
So old to still be acting like this.
Like,
it's exhausting.
Think about all the players who didn't get rings. Charles Barkley ain't out here doing that. He didn't even get a ring.
Charles is out here
living his best life, being ridiculous. Like, you don't have to be that way. But ain't trying to say, he didn't know the Last Dance. Yeah, that's fine, Sergio. He might not feel like he got his due or whatever, but you got all them rings. Like, there's other players who will probably feel like they didn't get their due either. But you were on a team, the most successful team, Scotty, Kwame Brown, Pippen. Yeah, basically. But don't act like you were the draw. Don't act like you were the star.
I don't be having time for these pick me's. I just feel
Mm.
like, the world is pointing pick me's at black women, but really, I have seen so many men, not just black men, but men in general, just crying on the internet. And it's like, what is wrong with
Grow
y'all?
up.
Can you please get therapy?
Grow
Please.
up.
It's exhausting.
Ugh, but all right. We'll leave Scottie Pippen alone. And we'll talk about our meat and potatoes for the day. And as a preacher's kid, I may be disowned. Let me take a sip of this cooling water for a second. We're going to talk about the black church because it's apparently there are some withdrawals happening. And even within my own friend group. So I decided to do a little digging today to find out, what was going on with it. So this is by Pew Research. Among black worshipers, 4 in 10 now attend non-black congregations, including half of millennials, that be us, and Gen Zs, them people born after 1996. You know, about half say it's essential for churches to offer racial affirmation or pride, while only a quarter of say sermons on political topics are essential. 6 in 10 black congregations say that black congregations should diversify. And then 6 in 10 say when church shopping, finding a congregation where most attendees share their race is unimportant. So, this this is
Hmm.
this is strange to me because as a kid who grew up a preacher's kid in the black church, Southern Baptist, uh, church was everything. It was, the basis of life. It was, whenever there's a service, I had to be there because
Mhm.
obligated. Uh, I'm curious to know from the people watching today what they think is causing this shift. And it's not just that they're going to non-denominational churches. They're also leaving church completely behind and going into other things more like astrology, more African-based faiths. So why are we seeing this change? Because for so long, the black church has been the cornerstone of the black community. And for some reason, things have changed. And I would posit, as we were speaking before the show, I would say that it's probably because the black church, to me, has failed in addressing the needs of its community. And it has stood up on a hill, enriched itself, and put on such a great show that when the real stuff happened, like over the summer, you know, all the unrest and racial unrest, the church was nowhere to be found. And that's what I would go with. Ross says generations of people who utilize judgment and holiness as a weapon. Ooh. What you got, Janelle? What you say?
For me, when I think of the church, number one, I think of it in a positive way as something that I can relate to when it comes to being Black. I love that majority of us have the Black church experience and we can sit here and laugh and kiki about it. That's like the club that other people can't get into. I do love that. I love that, like, it is universal. Like, the Black church experience is universal and it makes it fun. However, the Black church is the foundation for a lot of trauma in the Black community.
Mm.
And the Black church doesn't even realize that the stuff that they are pushing as what we should be doing was given to us by slave masters. So there's just trauma floating all around. But I completely agree with what you said as far as the Black church not paying attention to the needs of the community. The Black church is the first place I felt judged, is the first place I felt seen, is the first place I felt like there was something wrong with me because people were telling me that there was something wrong with me, people who didn't even know me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's like, it makes me think of like, back when we were in DC and on the weekends, you would get all those different, like, go to live tonight, go here tonight, go there tonight. You're like, oh my gosh, which one should I go to? Which one is going to be the best one? That's what church is to me now. It's a club, and everyone is trying to figure out
Mm-hmm.
how they can be the best and capitalize off of everyone. And it's not about, really having a good time and focusing on the word. It's
It's
really
about
about like,
yeah, it's entertainment. It's become an
yes.
entertainment industry. And my thing is, and what I try to tell people is, whatever you do to draw them in is what you're going to have to do to keep them. And you're not going to be able to switch that up. You can't bring in this whole group that is expecting a party club atmosphere every week and then try to give them like the word. They don't want that. You gave them fun and club and bouncing. You can't turn that around. So I think that's a reason. And I also think that people have seen so much messiness from church members
Mm.
that it has turned them off from church completely. And I think people say, oh, you're not coming to church, you've just abandoned God. No, they've left the church.
Oh, you giving a word tonight. Okay.
There is a difference between leaving church and leaving God.
Mm.
And because God ain't the one that hurt them, you did. So stop trying to put that on God and that person. So I think that black churches always try to be above their own mess and have no accountability. And everything is excused. Well, you know how Deacon so and so is. No, Deacon so and so is an asshole. And y'all need to talk about Deacon so and so and tell him about himself. Like I'm sick of this. That's just how he is mentality. And that's not even just black church. That's black family. That's just a black experience. And
don't run too far. Don't run too far.
I'm sorry. But and that's why I feel like they leave. And they go to a non-denominational church where these things aren't said because that's not the experience of the whole group anymore.
And Risha made a really good point. She says, yes, and I think our generation sees we don't necessarily need church to have a relationship with God. My greatest experiences with God were nowhere near church. My ultimate greatest experiences where I realized that God was real to me had nothing to do with church whatsoever. Nothing. I was nowhere near church. I wasn't thinking about church.
Exactly. Now, I think too, the Bible does call us to not forsake assembling ourselves, together. And I think there is benefit in coming together. There's benefit in worshiping together with people that are like-minded. Like-minded being the key.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
But I think that people get lost in the religion and don't focus on the relationship. And that's the difference. People want that religious experience, but they don't want to deal with the relationship with God. And that's between you and God. Like, a pastor and a preacher is supposed to help you mentor that and foster that relationship with you and God, but that's ultimately between you. Ashley Hunt says church is a business. That is completely true. It is a business, always has been.
Do you think it should be a business?
This is where I might get in trouble.
And that's for the people in the comment section. Do you all think church should be a business?
But see, that's why I get in trouble because now I'm not going to say every mega church is like this, but I despise prosperity preachers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because nothing is further from what Jesus was than you living on a hilltop with all your cars while the people that attend your church are on food stamps. It's just so far. And then you want to buy multi-million-dollar jets because you can't fly. If Jesus was in today's world, he'd be flying coach on Southwest. Actually, hell, he'd be flying Spirit. That is the donkey of the sky. Spirit is the ass of the sky. Jesus would be riding that. Like, he would not be on a private Gulfstream 650 going to preach the word to people. He'd probably be on the Greyhound.
But this is not to say that there are no churches that do this.
Oh, no.
I'm a proud member of Alfred Street Baptist Church. And Pastor John Wesley Seal, that man, will give a word.
Oh yeah.
Pastor John Wesley will give a word. But I just feel like if we look at the bigger picture, like we said earlier, where was the black church when George Floyd was killed? Where was the black church when Trayvon Martin was killed? Where is the black church when Sandra Bland was killed? Where's the black church when these kids be getting shot
It's
up?
not even about those extreme instances. Where are they with these kids in school lunches? Yeah. Like, where are they with kids that can't?
There's no reason as to why kids have to pay for lunch.
And they should, but in areas where they do, that's where the church needs to be just stepping in. And so that's why I always loved my dad. Like when he was in San Antonio, Greater Christ Baptist Church, he started a hot meals ministry, a clothing pantry, so people could come get suits and shirts and tie for job interviews. Like you got food for free, you know, like that's how you involve yourself in the community. Now it's everything is give a little money for this, give a little money for that. Gotta have this. And if I go to another daggone church and they ask for another dollar for that building fund, and I ain't seen a doorknob put on that church since I was a kid, like what y'all want it for? Yes, bro. Where is all we get is Reverend Al Sharpton, and I'm sick of Jesse Jackson.
I didn't ask for Reverend Al Sharpton,
and I'm tired of them thinking they speak for all black folk. Like they don't.
On the other hand, and I'm just playing devil's advocate right now, I think there are a lot of young preachers who are trying to break these generational curses and, you know, lead churches in a more positive way. There's a lot of pressure to be perfect. If a pastor messes up, that's it.
That's it.
At what point does the church
understand them
that
to be human?
Pastors are human?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pastors need to understand they're human too, because they be preaching like they don't do anything wrong. But at what point do we realize, like, we're there to worship God and to praise God, not the pastor? He's just the messenger of the word.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just me playing the devil's advocate.
That's right. There's some great young preachers out there. There's great older preachers out here, but there's some that are out here just making a name and getting fame. And it's like, you preach a good game, but my thing is, what does your track record look like? I want to know what your congregation is looking like. I want to see what you're doing in their lives, because a lot of times I've been to churches, they talk a good game on the inside of the church, and then nothing happens in the community. I don't see your name on nothing. You ain't even adopt a highway to clean. Like what are you doing? And or y'all just coming there having a good time? Umar got a better chance getting $1 from his non-existent school than a pastor with 7 different cars and a private jet. Exactly. I just feel like we're falling in love with personalities, like when it comes to the church. And it's crazy because you'll hear someone say, "Well, my pastor ain't there this week. I ain't going." Like, so were you? So who's more important, God or that pastor? Because you sure are making your decisions based on if he's there or not. Like,
I mean, think about it. We would sit in a regular service and then go eat and come back to another service that was specifically to celebrate the pastor's wedding anniversary.
Yeah.
Why is the church celebrating your wedding anniversary? I didn't marry you. I wasn't even invited to the wedding.
My thing is, we can acknowledge it. We can say something like we acknowledge everybody else in the church.
Yeah. If your anniversary is this month, raise your hand. Be blessed. But y'all will literally have a whole ceremony. You got kids coming after school to practice to dance.
Wait a minute. My boy and I got singled out at church because he slept with the pastor's last daughter and didn't want to be in a relationship with her. Maybe dad might have had a problem with that. I don't. Speaking as a preacher's kid, I was singled out quite a bit in church if I was falling asleep. So I understand the call out and get that. Ain't that right, Marcus? Sit up straight. Gotta get back up, you know. But that's crazy.
Also, that's even another thing. The act of embarrassing your child in front of people because they're supposed to. You got kids sitting in church for hours.
Yeah.
Without food.
No food.
Without water. And you think that their brains are going to be able to just sit there?
I had snacks. I had shredded wheat. Ain't gonna lie. They used to make a shredded wheat with the little fruit filling inside. It was off brand, but it was so much better than the real joint. I used to crush them things, man. Like I'd be in church smacking, and they make your mouth so dry, I'd be smacking. No water, but that church water fountain though. Whew, that water.
Back to what you had
I'm
read. You know
sorry.
what I'm curious about? Where it said about diversity. That kind of struck me as I like being at church with my people.
And that's crazy. Having someone stand. Oh boy, that was big, especially in southern churches. Having someone stand up in front to apologize for getting pregnant while not married, and then half the people that be in the congregation wanting that apology did the same thing.
But my thing is, what do I need to
But
apologize
and
to?
exactly, it was only the woman who had to apologize. The man didn't.
Never, never the man.
I
And
mean,
this whole idea of confessing things in church that you should be in jail.
yeah.
Because the black church is real quick to look at the Catholics and how they confess things. But let's not act like kids ain't getting messed with in church by the pastor and the deacon. Y'all don't want to say anything about it because you leave everything within the church.
I mean, let's talk about the fact that like women pastors were frowned upon when I was a kid, and that's not even that long ago.
Still,
Women being
still.
pastors was just, we don't want her to preach. We don't want her to
Change the word. Do you think that God is going to be like, you're a woman, you can't spread the word? Like, I really want somebody to tell me that.
I literally heard a preacher say, well, out of the 12 disciples, did you see a woman among them? And I was just like, sir, let's think about, and a lot of things in the Bible get taken out of context. People forget about the context of the time period the people were in. Like, it wouldn't have been very profitable had he picked like 8 women and 4 men. The women would have not been listened to, probably hung up and strung up for heresy or whatever, and the guys would have made it off. But so like, let's not pretend like the time period doesn't matter. Yes, exactly. People press the parts of the Bible that serves them. People treat the Bible like trail mix. I'm gonna pull out all the M&Ms because they good. I'm gonna pull out them pretzels.
All the M&Ms.
I go for them little bagel chips. But like, and then they leave everything else that they don't want to deal with. And the church is really big on that, especially when it comes to talking about sin. But we'll get to that part. Women pastors are still frowned upon. My aunt had to retire from the altar because they claimed her to be unfit because she was a teacher. She was a teacher. Oh, yeah, she was a teacher Monday through Friday. Said it was a conflict of interest. All of these things is why I don't go anymore. And we grew up in church. But as I got older, I realized I can't stomach the people in there. Actually, I'm not sure, but didn't we go to like a church, like a revival in North Carolina together one time? We were sitting in there forever. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But the gossip that goes on in the black churches as well. Yes. Oh my gosh. The gossip in the black church. And they be standing up in front of each other. Here comes Shelly. Here she come. Wearing that little hoochie dress again. And then Shelly get up on him. Hey, Shelly. Oh, my gosh. It's good to see you this week. God bless you. Like, that was the craziest stuff. You sure did go with us a few times. Yeah, I remember that. That's when I gave the 2 thumbs up. I don't know if you remember that. That's an inside joke, me and you know. And everything else is a weapon used to ostracize those who don't sin like they do. And that's a thing.
Relicia.
But they quiet about that obesity. See, you should have been on tonight's episode, but you want to sit all there and be quiet. But that's all right. Quiet about the gluttony. Oh my Lord. Go to bed. Quiet
about the 3 men they sleeping with.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and the deaconess sleeping with the pastor. Mm-hmm. On them church retreats.
We gotta go back because can we get the message in 30 minutes, not 3 hours? The thing that kills me is that literally the Bible says Sunday is a day of rest. And I would get up and go to school the next day tired every Monday because I would be in church for so long dealing with y'all saying the same sentence over with different words.
She said, praise God, we've been delivered. I get that. And my dad, My dad was an older preacher in the older style of Southern Baptist, so he would say, "Y'all want preachers that are like sport cars, pick up fast but can't carry a lot of a lot of material." He was like, "I'm an 18 wheeler. I'm slow to get started, but I carry a lot of information." And I used to be like, "We about to be here all day," but I mean, and then I had to stay on top of that because everybody got to talk to pastor after, and everybody got to do that. But church too was very political for me. Like it was very political, especially being a preacher's kid, because everybody tries to get to him through you. So they would try to do nice stuff for me and try to be like nice and all the time. And it's just like, you don't care about me. Like you just want to look like you doing nice stuff, so he sees you doing nice stuff for me. Like, uh, Marcus
Somebody,
Winters, you ever thought you would have been? Did I ever think I've been a preacher? Ooh.
you would preach before the football games for us to get us hyped.
Well, I am licensed, so there's that. There is
Damn.
that. So, and yes, I did a little preaching before football games to hype people up, get them ready to go. They weren't pulpit worthy words, I'll be honest. But it was good times. But uh, oh, you're replying to Janika. But yeah, it was political for me. You know, watching people fake like they cared about me or my siblings, but really they were just trying to endear themselves to my father. You know, just make it look good. But he saw through that pretty good. But yeah, church mess is some of the messiest mess, man. Like,
And it's just crazy how is it that majority of time when you go to church, you always feel bad when you leave. Like he was just doing so much stuff wrong, and but you're so happy that God delivered you from it. But it's like I wasn't doing anything wrong. I really wasn't. Like, and
no,
even things that I was doing wrong, like instead of bashing me, are you teaching me? Are you molding me? Are you nurturing me? I'm spending majority of my time outside of school with y'all. So what are you doing to really prepare me for the world outside of judging me and telling me everything is wrong with me? Me terrified of everything.
I mean, the Apostle Paul described himself as the chief of sinners, and if God could use him to spread the gospel and to do that and to teach the people, why do we come down on people who, yes, they maybe have lived in sin, but if they're coming to the church, they're obviously trying to better themselves.
Yeah, because I ain't
The
getting nothing.
last thing you need to do is kick them while they're down. Like this is where you rehabilitate and you love on them and you bring them. You don't have to throw everything. Secret. This is a secret. They know everything they did wrong. You don't have to tell them anymore. Like they know. Like I'm
I
not
think that's
saying.
why people are looking for more diverse churches because like less judgment, less pain that comes with dealing with the black church. Are they looking for more of a balance? Because I've never thought of that. I've never thought like I want more diversity at the church.
I haven't either, because I. And it's so crazy because we're talking about how church can hurt us, but church also felt like a safe place because I had a lot of good memories in church and a lot of
Yeah,
like it felt like this is our thing. Like this is
yeah,
us. Like this is our place to be safe. This is our place where we can express ourselves, worship the way we want to worship, and it's
yeah.
not seen like as crazy. Like I literally had a white friend who came to church with me. He's like, "This is wild. Like this is just too wild. Like y'all are screaming and singing. Like we're not
Wow. Now
screaming."
think about
But yeah, he's like, y'all are screaming. That's not singing. That's screaming.
it. But they be doing weird stuff too, so I don't want to hear
Yeah,
it. But come on.
like,
We'll talk
oh,
about that another day.
she said that's part of church hurt. You beat people over the head with what they've done wrong, but when do you uplift them? Exactly.
It's called brainwashing. That's what they did to slaves. That's brainwashing.
Oh, there's also Ross says there's also a step back in the more diverse church. Like you don't feel the pressures of all these cultural expectations, and you can tip in and out for the message. That's it. I'm gonna be real. Some people choirs is down bad, and that's part of it too. Oh, you've adopted the phrase "down bad." I got you. Uh, but um, but yeah, that's true. But I mean, you know, let everything that have breath, I guess. Some things need to have a little less breath so they ain't hurt. But But yeah, I get it. But see, you can dip in and out in the black church too. You can dip out you just got to put that finger up when you're walking by. Make sure you put the finger up.
Look at you.
This the
Oh my God,
pardon.
how you gonna tell me I can't go to the bathroom?
Oh yeah, that was
How
crazy.
you gonna tell me I can't go
I
to? You
can't go
think
to
I'm
the
just?
bathroom. At least I couldn't go alone. Like I had older siblings. They could take me, but I'd probably still get in trouble for going out. And it's like, you just went to the bathroom. Like, no, I went 3 hours ago when church started. My bladder is small. Ashley, you know what I'm talking about, the church finger? You gotta duck while you do it, because then it creates a shield around you where you are now safe from scrutiny. Uh
Corner you next week about it.
nah, they eyeball you too hard and corner you the next week about it. Yeah, I mean, it happens. It happens. But no. But yeah, we got a nah at the diverse church. You leave to go get some cookies and come back in church to eat them. But no, I'm seeing a lot of churches get away from that. Like I went to a church in DC where they had a Starbucks on the inside. And you buy Starbucks and you could actually take a portion of your Starbucks purchase and put it towards the offering. So it was like
Hmm.
it was pretty smart. I mean, caffeine get you hyped for the church, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, churches are getting better with technology, like Givelify, and things like that, where you can do stuff on your phone. Uh, we had fun in church as kids, though. Cause we used to act
That's
up.
what I was gonna say. I wouldn't trade the experience for the world. There are things that definitely could have been done better and things that could be rectified, but the positive experience, man, they were great. Okay, they were great. Acting up.
I think now here you ready for some controversy? You ready for some controversy? Yeah, you gonna kick me
My
out?
middle
It
name.
might just be your show next week after this one. I think what the problem with the big church, the black church is having is it's a big problem with inconsistency. And let me clarify. We were talking about the sin earlier. So a lot of Southern black churches are still grappling with homosexuality, how to address it, and how to deal
Hmm.
with it. But when it comes down to a lot of the big Southern churches doing, you have your gospel concerts and things like that going on, they have no problem in having choir directors, choir members, musicians that are openly gay, but stand up in a pulpit and preach against it. And there becomes a confusion for your members like, well, what is it? Which one is it? Do you, you don't accept me, but I'm good enough to sing in your choirs? Like, is it like so? With that push to be popular and that push to have the best choir, that push to have, the best music ministry, because I feel like the black church really hones in around that music ministry. Because I've seen people after the choir's done, they get up and leave. I've seen it. Like, I got my song for the day, I'm out. Like
I
that,
mean, that's mine. I love praise and worship.
yeah. But like, so I think that inconsistency in that has, especially with a generation that's more tolerant of that and more inclusive with people from the LGBTQ plus.
Plus,
Yeah, I hope I got it right. Hope I got it right. Hope I didn't offend nobody. But that lifestyle, people are more acceptable to it. The church has put itself on a weird seesaw. With your older members, that's not okay. With your younger members, that's perfectly fine. And now pastors are caught in the middle, and preachers are caught in the middle. And these are things that used to tear churches apart. So,
and the preachers don't be gay themselves.
oh boy, let's not talk about that. And it's not just black churches; that's white churches too. Jimmy Swaggart
It's
back in the day, like uh, a lot of Christians are anything but. They use that as a shield to be judgmental. You're right. Um, the way I look at it as, I may have my personal beliefs, but one thing I'm not going to do is make someone's life a living hell just to just to get a point across. I'm not going to do that. I'm not. Um, I I think the church, as black churches in a whole, just have not have been trying to sidestep the issue, And there's gonna come a point where they're gonna have to, because them old members are dying off.
And also, the younger generation is starting to educate themselves and learn the truth
Mm-hmm.
and create their own relationship with God. And I think that's what we lacked. We were given relationships with God by our parents, and they were doing what they thought was best. So this is nothing to like throw shade to our parents or say they did something wrong. They were doing what they knew, what they thought was right, what they thought they were instilling us was good values and things. But we didn't get to form our own relationship. And now that people are, and they're figuring out how to worship God the way God said, in their own way, it seems to be a problem. It seems to be a problem that people are finding their own path and their own way to do what they do. And it's just so funny because while you sit here and you are worried about how other people are walking with God, you're missing out on your own walk. So I feel like mind your blessing.
And it's ridiculous, because two people thought that because I was a preacher's kid that somehow I was covered more or something, like I was like just blessed with more, I mean, you're a preacher's kid, so we know you do right. Boy, I was out here wilding. But anyway, not even gonna talk about that. But I knew God. I had a strong faith because that was given to me. I grew up in the church. I grew up in it. That was my life. That was it. But I had my real face-to-face confrontation with God after my dad passed away, because now he was not there to lead me into that. He was not there to guide me when my own faith faltered or whatnot. I had to do it for myself. I had to come into. I'm just gonna say, people can't tell me that I don't believe in God, because I met him for myself. That's all I'm gonna say. I had to meet him for myself and come into that realization for myself of who God is to me and for me, because I've seen him work. And this promotion I just got is another testament to how he works, because there is no logical reason that this should have happened, but by God's grace. But I'm gonna leave that there before I get happy and dance off this set. Let's see what they said. Religion has been a huge manipulative tool over history. Sure has. It sure has. It's been the reason we can kill off Native Americans. Go ahead.
When it comes to the Black church, we will denounce other religions so quickly, as if we know 100% without a shadow of a doubt that everything we're saying is correct, and no other religion could be right at all. None. But those other religions have so much more peace. Like when I see, there's a park that I take Zaire to, and a lot of people who are Muslim go there, and they go and they pray, and they're just so peaceful and they're so happy, and nobody's bothering nobody. Nobody's judging. Nobody's giggling in the corner talking about such and such. And I'm just like, I know people who would sit there and judge them and possibly say like, oh, look, they out here praying, like who they praying to and stuff like that. When at the end of the day, you can't tell them who God is to them.
No. You can't. And especially, I've been in a whole bunch of Arab countries, and they're some of the sweetest, nicest people I've ever met. They are. And I've even, literally, I've gone in mosques. I've gone in everything. And I literally, I had a conversation with a guy. They were doing the prayers, and I just wanted to watch them do the prayers and everything. And so the guy started leading me down to do the prayer. I was like, no, I'm Christian. I don't want to. And he literally just looked at me and said, that's okay, my brother. And that's all he said. And and he was like, okay, cool. You don't have to, but I'm gonna just do my thing, and you just stand here, and it's cool. We cool. They don't do the same things that we do. It's like, no, stay away from there, and educating yourself on other religions will not hurt your own. It won't.
You can learn something.
Also, watching Harry Potter ain't a sin, but we'll get into. Did you get that though? You couldn't watch
Harry Potter was a sin, but we're sitting up here talking about let's watch Lord of the Rings.
Yo, Harry Potter was a sin, boy. I couldn't watch nothing magical. It's some ridiculous.
I have to say, my parents really did not do that to me. My parents did allow me to pretty much watch whatever I felt like watching and listen to whatever music, but I didn't really choose to watch stuff that was inappropriate because they instilled that in me. So I have to say, shout out to Kim and Bob for letting me be lit at home. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, we didn't go see Harry Potter. I think I saw Shrek.
But Shrek was a jam.
And that's crazy. but it was crazy how Shrek was compared. Like it was some jokes in there that
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't have heard as a kid. But
yeah, that's
that's what happens with having old parents who didn't know no better. But but yeah, that it's just funny how the black church has it's had its amazing moments like the 50s and 60s and the civil rights movement, but it seems like as soon as we got integrated, as soon as we got, you know, became mainstream, it got popular, it got big, the music choirs got huge, like we stopped caring about what was outside of the church as much. And we stopped the care for the actual people went down. It all became a production. How many we can fill up, how many seats we can fill up this Sunday. How good can the choirs be? Like, I wonder what Jesus would say if he came back and just like choir competitions. Like, I wonder what he would think about it.
those can be fun though.
Yeah, but I wonder what he would say. Are y'all doing this for the glorification of me and the Father, or are y'all doing this because y'all just want trophies?
But it's just like Relisha said, it's a manipulative tool, and they think they are. I believe that people do genuinely think that what they're doing is to serve God, and I think that's why they're able to sleep at night. Like
But
they
then
think
you have
that
someone like Kanye who can come along and take your money and not pay you for singing that song because you thought you were, and you let somebody who you should know better with.
It's really hard for me to talk about money. It's hard. I get really
Exactly,
sad.
Ashley. The more seats filled, the more money they make. It's a business, and I think it's time that this is crazy. This is gonna sound radical, but I believe Jesus was pretty radical, so I'll say it. It's time we start demanding more about churches. Like one of my first questions, like if I'm gonna join a church in the local area, what do you do in your community? How much do you give to it? What programs do you have that benefit your members? Like, do you have financial literacy classes? Do you do this for your members? Like debt consolidation classes? Like, what are you doing other than preaching on Sunday, having Bible study on Wednesday, choir rehearsal Saturday? Like, what are you doing? Something of
What makes me sad is the lack of empathy, the lack of even acknowledging that, there are a lot of younger people not going to church anymore or leaving. And it's like, y'all are supposed to be our elders, or, the church is supposed to be the safe space for Black people. And I don't see many people saying, like, we're losing our people and we're not trying to do anything about it. Why are we losing our youth? Why are people not coming to church anymore? Why are people? Because
and then
I
they
know
expect
they
us to
see
go get them.
people saying, yeah.
You make it hard for me to go get them when you doing the mess that you doing. And I'm, as a young person, I'm not going to rope my friends in it and make them thinking I'm dumb because I'm out here, putting up for y'all. Ross said she said, and honestly, the non-denominational ones have those programs. They do.
They do.
Like, you're here asking me for money. This church is teaching me how to manage my money. Black churches love to talk about tithing and everything a lot, but don't help you with job applications and better things that'll help you do more tithing, like to help you do these things. They don't do that.
And it's sad because the ones that are doing it, I feel like they don't know how to really expose themselves. I think that, like, for example, my mother's church here in Raleigh, they're creating a counseling center for Black people. Their pastor came out and said, there's an issue with mental health in the Black community, and there's a stigma between Black people and counseling and church counseling, and he wants to bridge the gap. And that's outstanding. But majority of churches would look at him and be like, you're doing what? They just need prayer. They need to have,
I was just about to say that. This just like, pray about it mentality. Let me, if anybody ever sees this on YouTube, if anybody ever sees, like, shares this with somebody, just share this part with them. Telling someone to just pray ain't gonna put food on their table tonight. It's not gonna put a pamper on their baby's bottom tonight. It is not gonna turn their heat on when it's 30 degrees outside.
Come on, Marcus.
Instead of telling them to pray, how about you show them the love of Jesus and put something in their hand so that they can go and give. And guess what? I guarantee you, they're going to come to your church and they're going to bring somebody else. We got too many for-profit ministries out here that are just banking, and you already don't pay taxes. So what the heck? Like, why do you think, like, literally, when I had to leave college because I didn't have the money, you're going to tell me to just pray about it? Okay, I prayed about it, but guess what? There's no money in my account at the financial building. That's not going to help me get a degree. It's not. It's just not. Oh, that husband of yours, he cheating on you. Just pray about it. That's not going to stop him from sleeping with Deaconess Brown over there. That's not going to stop it. It's not. It's not going to stop it. Faith without works is dead. You have to do something.
But you're trying to put that into the brains of people who have been doing the same thing for so long.
Oh, you're right. Oh, the coronavirus. I don't trust that. God has given us wisdom. He's given us so much wisdom that your forefathers did not have to create vaccines, to do these things that they have not been able to do. And you don't believe it. But you will drive that car with the navigational system and trust that it'll get you where you want it to go. So you'll trust science when it's convenient to you, or only when your mind can understand it. Anyway, let me get off that before I...
Because you're getting real upset.
I am getting... Because it doesn't make...
It doesn't, but you're asking people who have have this ingrained in them every day, weeks out of the month, months out of the year, for decades, hundreds of years, centuries. Like, come on, like, that's almost like trying to tell a drug addict you need to hurry up and get off drugs right now. It's impossible.
Don't go watching Harry Potter, but we got to take this baby to go sit on the Easter Bunny's lap for the Easter photos. Like, this, none of what you're doing makes sense. None of what you're doing makes sense. That bunny is laying eggs. None of what you're doing is making... Anyway. I can't say that word. But anyway, the mentality in the black church needs a severe overhaul. Because the youth of today ain't going to take it. They're not going to deal with it. They will start their own stuff. And you'll be sitting in there with Deaconess Brown, wondering where everybody at.
Where do you think we're supposed to start?
Ooh, where do I think? Honesty.
I like that.
Honesty. Admit you got it wrong.
It's in September, relation girl. It's September. They got us out here on the coldest day of the year.
Shoot, Jesus born. Oh, and
the parents born like September. Like, if you actually trace it, it was in September.
There needs to be honesty in the Christian faith. Complete honesty in the Christian faith. And I will say this is not even black people. This is an America problem. A lot of people don't want Jesus to be of color, and everybody wants Jesus to be black. I get it, but he would... Hold on. Let me.
No, you're right. I don't disagree with you.
He born in Bethlehem. I've been.
Let's just pull up a map.
Let's just pull up a map about where that is, for one. America's problem is they don't want to see Jesus as looking Middle Eastern because it's going to make them feel a lot better about bombing the hell out of those countries sometimes. The Jesus that y'all been loving, that white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired Jesus, that's cute, but he really looks more like those people you hate so much in the Middle East. He looked a lot more like them. And
terrorists is terrible.
It's and hell, Santa Claus was Turkish. So I mean, nothing that you believe is real. But I think the black church needs to be honest. Say, look, we've got some things wrong. We acknowledge our history, and we have this thing where acknowledging that yes, a lot of us converted to Christianity because we were slaves and whatnot. That doesn't automatically make
We did.
Christian.
Christianity was being practiced in Africa
Exactly.
before
It
it
was,
became
and that's what I'm about to say. Yes,
they
but
just gave us that really trifling, made up form
they gave us
to
a
keep
perverted
us
form of
shackled. And look
Christianity.
at us,
Exactly.
still shackled. And I'm not saying I agree with Kanye, but I'm also not saying I don't agree with Kanye. Like, I mean, if you,
Wait a minute.
what I'm saying is, there are, when it comes to our specific topic, the Black church has been practicing some of the same things. There has been no change. Just like the Declaration of Independence and all these laws and bills and stuff have had no change. It's just collecting dust. And time has evolved, things have changed, and for whatever reason, they're still stuck in the same ways and not realize that they've been stuck. So at what point do they realize that they're not moving because they're not moving? Not because, oh, it's on God's time. Like, if I hear one more person say the rapture is coming, the rapture was coming 800 years ago, baby. Like, God will come when He says He will come.
When
But I'm
he
not going to sit up here and think about that every
and you're
day.
not gonna know the time nor the
You
season,
know what?
so just
And we're not supposed to. The cicadas, oh no, it's like when Moses, they come every
it's
17
17 years.
years. Like,
We living in the end days. All right, well, Miss Shelley, you better get your stuff together, cause
my grandma said it, my great grandma said it, I'm sure my great great grandma said it. It's always the end days. And what's wild is we don't know what a day is to God. We don't know what 1 minute is to God. Like, just enjoy what you have. That's the thing about the Black church. This idea of like constantly looking towards death is insane. That's how you keep people down and shackled, by scaring them, by constantly being like, I mean, think of all the hymns we sing. By and by, when the morning comes. Like,
I, I don't. I mean, yes, the church is it's a part of my life. It's a part of my life I absolutely loved, but it's a part of my life. Some of it you have to look back and say, well,
whoa.
dang, did you? And I actually had a friend who said it. Did I really believe what I believe, or was I told to believe what I believe? And I think
And it's
that's
the
what a
same
lot
thing
of people are
with
going
parents.
through. They don't
Yeah.
know. They're unsure in their faith because you never actually sat down and talked with them and taught them. You just told them this is what you believe because it's what I believe. It's what we believe. And so you don't cultivate their faith. You just push it down their throats. And
Without
when they get older
explanation.
and they see the world and it's not the way you described it, everything's not the devil. I I can watch Harry Potter and nothing happened to me. I'm not like now like little things like that. Now I question everything that you said.
Go on a date and not get pregnant by a guy?
Oh
What?
my god, a guy
I
can.
could walk down the street with shorts on and actually
Mm,
like not be considered a hoe. It's the man's problem.
I can
Shut up.
I can kiss a boy or a girl and nothing's gonna like. I'm not terrible for doing it. Like it's sad, but
It is.
I gave y'all extra few minutes tonight because I messed up tonight. For some reason the audio was trash, but I think we had a good conversation tonight, and I hope y'all had a wonderful conversation with us. Uh, any parting words, Janelle? What you got?
Um, well, number one, I hope everyone has a great week. That first. But when it comes to this specific topic, I think that, just stand firm in what you believe in. If you feel that it is true, and if you feel that you are being led in the right direction, stand in it no matter what anybody says.
I like that.
And that's it.
I like that. Um, I know there's a lot of people who probably would take offense to some of the stuff I said tonight, but I think it was important that it's said because it is a thing that's happening. I know a lot of people have met their husbands or significant others in church, like, and that's a wonderful thing. And I think there's no greater, you know, thing that could happen than you being surrounded by the love of God and then finding the person that God
Mm,
intends for you. I think that's beautiful. I
it's
think that's
beautiful.
amazing.
Mm.
Ain't happened for me yet because I ain't going to the right church yet. But no, let me stop. Let me stop. Just a joke, just a joke. But I your relationship with God is your relationship with God, and no one else can define that for you. Um, as long as you know you're secure in your faith and what you believe, you're good. Now, this is not saying don't go to church anymore, because I do believe church is important. I believe that the assembly of the saints is a wonderful thing,
Yes, fellowship.
but don't compromise your mental and spiritual health staying in a place that degrades you or makes you feel less than or less deserving of God's love, because you deserve it and He loves us all. And with that, I love you too. And I hope to see y'all again, same time next week. Again, if this is your first time here tonight, stop what you're doing, go to YouTube, Marcus in the Man Cave, subscribe to that, and you can see tonight's video with its blooper at the beginning and all videos in the past that we've done. Follow us on Instagram at Marcus in the Man Cave. Share us, follow us on Facebook, and then I think that's it for the night. Did I miss anything, Janelle? Got it all?
Uh, Everyone have a good night.
I will give a benediction, but I won't. Have a good night, everybody.